Resolution number 2014-198 is authorizing an agreement with the Washington Association of Sheriff and Police Chiefs and the City of Civic for an on-site accreditation inspection.
Questions from council? Council pleasure.
Move to approve resolution number 2014-198.
Okay, Councilmember Jones.
Our police officer force they're going through the accreditation process, which is the final step towards acknowledgement of that work that they performed and to acquire accreditation.
Councilmember Case. Comments from council? Comments from the audience? Okay, seeing none, roll call council, please.
Councilmember Cave.
Aye.
Councilmember Olivera.
Aye.
Councilmember Putnam.
Aye.
Councilmember Steiger.
Aye.
Councilmember Walker.
Aye.
Councilmember Gerberding. Aye. Councilmember Jones.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is Agenda Bill 14-156, confirmation of mayor's appointment to public works manager. And I have asked Lance Newkirk to be here tonight to tell us a little bit about himself and allow council to ask any questions that they may have. So Lance, if you would like to come on up and tell us a little bit about yourself, your experience.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, Council. Again, I'm Lance Newkirk. I'm very happy to be here tonight. My background and experience in public works, this has been the focus of my career, pretty much my entire career. I have over 30 years of experience working with public works related issues, both in the private and public sector. About half and half of that is split between managerial and supervisory duties. That's been the most recent 15 years of my career. And then prior to that, I had worked in field operations where I'd worked with maintenance on streets, water utility, wastewater utility, and stormwater functions. So a little bit about that background, just give you a sense of where I've been and some of my experience. This is a career that I enjoy immensely, and I know there are some challenges here that the mayor and city administrator have explained, and I would welcome the opportunity to be here to help the community address the challenges before it. And on a personal note, my lovely wife and I, we've been married about 31 years now. I have 3 adult children, and that's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it? Adult children. But very proud of them, and good young men, upstanding citizens, and just generally as hobbies, I enjoy a little fishing when I get the opportunity, and just recreating with family and friends in the Northwest. Love the area. I've been here pretty much my entire life, so have some good spots I enjoy. If there are any questions that you have of me, I'd be happy to answer or entertain any questions.
Questions from Councilmember Case.
So when I look at your resume, the current position, it says you're a senior management consultant, so you're not actually a city employee. Is that true?
The last assignment that I had was as a consultant. That's correct. I'm not currently employed at the moment. That assignment is over, so it has ended a few months ago.
Okay, so that's not something that you would carry on after possibly being employed here, then?
That's correct.
Further questions? Councilmember Wilson.
What drew you to the city of Pacific?
What drew me? Some of the challenges. Certainly working with the remodel, some of the capital investment issues that are here, looking for outside funding and bringing those opportunities to Pacific. Those are things that I've wrestled with in my past, and I certainly know how important they are to get them right. And I would like to believe that I have the experience that I could, hopefully smooth that out a bit, because certainly public service, it isn't always smooth, but sometimes it's bumpy. But I persevere, and I think I have a skill set that would be able to help the community to continue to grow.
Councilmember Wilson.
So give us an idea of what you would see your first 90 days looking like?
First 90 days. Well, certainly the remodel, the phase one of this facility, as the mayor and the city administrator have explained, is a key project on the horizon. So that would be an area that I would certainly work under their guidance to see where the city's been and what some of the unmet tasks thus far are, and just to try to get that project rolling. I understand that there's some personnel issues to deal with, meaning hiring additional personnel for the public works, and that would be an area that obviously I'd work on within the 90 days. And obviously, just getting to know some of the personnel that I'd be working with, both directly, that would be working for me, as well as learning what some of the other staff members are doing. And I think that would pretty much cover a full 90-day slate.
And can you give us an idea of your experience working both on a negotiating committee and managing union employees?
Absolutely. My municipal career, with the exception as a management consultant, has been working with represented employees. So approximately 16 years as a supervisor manager of union employees. So I have an extensive background working with collective bargaining agreements and interpreting, applying, as well as sitting at the negotiating table for maybe not as a lead negotiator, but certainly as a partner in the process to get the agreement signed.
You have a very good background, so I'm not really going to judge you or ask questions for supporting or against that. One of the concerns I have is your living location, how you might or might not see that as an impact with your living, working here. You know, so I know that it is a distance.
Yes, and certainly I recognize that is a commitment that I would make to the community to fulfill all those duties, and I have had that conversation with the mayor. And give you an example of how I would apply that. My recent opportunity that I had as a consultant with Shoreline also entailed similar type of work where I was responsible for the streets crew, and that entailed the winter operations. So my commute for that community was about 100 minutes. This is roughly about 65. So that's less commute, but I was committed to fulfill all the obligations that I would undertake as an employee, and I made that same commitment here.
Councilmember Case.
Did you work public works prior to becoming being part of the management side of things?
Yes.
Were you an employee? Were you a union employee?
Yes, I was a union employee as a steel worker for a period of time. It's a long story. I'll shorten it a little bit, but I worked for a private company, and they provided municipal services to a military base. And the military base was the Naval Submarine Base at Bangor. And so I had the opportunity to work in the streets department, the water, a combined water and wastewater utility, and then streets, facilities and grounds maintenance. And this was on approximately a 7,000-acre facility with a population daytime of close to 16,000 people. And extensive infrastructure, and so I have extensive hands-on experience actually performing preventative maintenance, installing water main, sewer main, doing the middle of the night repairs when there was a break or a blockage or whatever the case may be, and that meant carrying the pager or the cell phone and participating as an employee at that level. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you're the type of guy that can relate to the work that you're expecting your employees to do, because you've done it for yourself.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning phone calls and have to respond to a block sewer or a water main break, and it can be a little chilly and a long night, but yes, I can relate.
Any questions from council? Councilmember.
Any experience with flooding and things like that, that's correct.
I haven't had the opportunity to work in a floodplain area like is present here, but I have had to deal with flooding issues just from an infrastructure management point of view. You know, we get those pineapple expresses that come through periodically, and you get that deluge of 4 or 5 inches in 24-hour period can cause some real flooding issues. So from that sense I have, but manage them holistically as a floodplain, I personally haven't had to deal with that. But I think I have the background and understanding of some of those issues.
We have a bud down and just with weeds and then we get flooded and we know it.
Don't listen to her, it never floods.
Really? And then, yes, about the storm drain and things.
It's hard to believe that we'll have rain issues after the summer we've had this year, but I think we all know they're coming.
So you can be here, you say you're how many minutes away?
65, on a good day, if traffic cooperates.
Middle of the night, it's only 40.
Other questions from council?
Actually, related to the last question, I noticed you do have NIMS training from FEMA. Have you been active in emergency management in your previous positions, or is that just something that everybody in your position has had? We have everybody required to have some NIMS training, but some people actually use it.
I have had the opportunity to practice it. You know, I will say I've never had the opportunity in a real scenario or a real event to see it deployed like the training you go to.
Okay, because you're not allowed to have real events.
That would work for me too.
Okay, further questions from council? No? No further questions? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the next part of this piece of resolution, maybe we could address that if there's a confirmation after executive session. Council in favor of that, and I don't think we can address it. Okay. So moving on to the consent agenda.
Move to approve the consent agenda? Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the executive session, and it's to evaluate the qualifications of an applicant for public employment for RTW 42.30.1101G for 15 minutes, and for collective bargaining RTW 42.30140 for 15 minutes. Do you need the full 15 minutes for the collective bargaining?
No.
We'll make that, how much?
I would say 5.
5 minutes?
Yes.
So we will be adjourned or moving into executive session for 20 minutes with possible action taking place after we come back.